Welcome to Warblog. Today we're going to look at one of the older scenarios. So as you've been following this, sort of working from the back forward. So we've got that one. I might have to redo that. The audio was not so great. I think the audio is okay now. But so we're looking at this. Now, a few things to sort of note about this. What's happening here? Okay. It's basically Second Battle of Swat, 2009, war in Afghanistan. They're obviously overstacked. They're paratroop. I mean, they're saying regiments, but they're not really regiments. They're parts of regiments. They're overstacked. I'm not worried too much about that because I think it's fair to have overstacking on the setup because it presumes that you will be replacing things. I'm sort of dealing with that. I'm okay with it to some extent. I certainly don't want to go around readjusting everything. But the thing I'm sort of saying here really is that these are paratroop units, and they did paratroop in. I mean, it's still working on that. It's a reasonable start. Quite often I don't finish the more so in the past. I was more bloggy. So this obviously made sense at the time, but I'm not really writing like that anymore because I realised that 2 years later it doesn't really sort of add up to much. But what I'm trying to get to, these are obviously, I'm pretty sure I'm not sure how they landed. I think they were brought in by helicopters actually. But the thing is, because it was pre-air mobile units, so you'd probably be able to sort of put them in there yourself. So I'm just going to sort of play it. I mean, let's have a quick look at the Wikipedia for it, just to give it, because it's been so long, I haven't actually read it. The Second Battle of Swat, also known as Operation Rah-e-Rast, began May 2009, involved the Pakistani army and Taliban militants in a fight for control of the Swat district of Pakistan. So, obviously, this is in Pakistan, and this is the Swat district. So it's basically to fight for control of all of this. So presumably they're going for all of these units as well. The first battle ended in a peace agreement, widely criticised in the West, that the government signed with the Taliban in February 2009. However, by late April 2009, government troops and the Taliban began to clash once again, etc., etc. So the battle for Mingora city. Now I'm presuming that this is Mingora city in there. So let's just have a quick look and see what that is. Yeah, so that's Mingora in there. So we haven't even got a city thing for it. It's just a mountain hex. We've got two hilly hexes over here where you can overstack up to 2. So this is the whole of the Swat sort of valley. I would probably say. We've got a lot of area over here. To be quite honest, if I was to look at this again, I'd probably design it a little differently because this is sort of the battle for Mingora city, which to some extent is secondary to the Second Battle of Swat, which is the broader sort of picture. So I'd probably sort of, maybe I could even do that one again just by creating, something around that to represent the battle for that. So in here, to represent that, we're just going pretty much as we've got. That hex there against that would be the battle. So I'm not too averse to those sorts of arrangements. I don't need to go down to sort of tactical levels, but I think that would possibly make sense. So after retaking Mingora, the military moved it onto Malam, Jabba and Qamabr. Malam, Jabba. Can't find Qamabr, but there's Malam, Jabba. So they move on to this. So take that, and then they move on to that, which is odd. Oh yeah, no, there we go. Because we've got. That's probably why they're sat there. See, there is a rhyme and reason to the things I do. I just never remember at the time. So obviously you've got to take that, and then you've got to take that, and presumably up here, at a guess, because there's a stack. Bahrain. Okay, I thought that might be Malam, Bazar or whatever. So okay. By August 22nd, 1.6 million of 2.2 million refugees returned home to this area, presumably. So, really major sort of engagement. Tiny map, fairly insignificant. But when you read that, one of the things I do like about Warblog is that once you get these things set up, I mean, obviously you can go back and fine tune and repair things, but they do start to make sense. Now obviously I think what we need to do is to figure out where this other place is. Yeah, the one that's highlighted. Qamabr Bazar. That would be worth figuring out. I'm surprised it's not that one actually. See, Calicut is separate to Fazbeg, Qamabr. No, can't find it. Anyway, so let's just sort of get into it. So the first thing I'm going to do, I think, is attack this little stack here. Now those are probably, I don't know why they're in there, they shouldn't be. I think I know why they're in there actually. Because they're flagged up as 0 on the first turn. So a little bit of damage in there. Now because of stacking, now what I'm guessing is he's got no movement. This is way back when units were being deployed with no movement. Basically because what I'm going to do, hold on, I'm going to make some quick edits. I mean, one of the reasons I go back to these is to make edits. I'm going to make a couple of edits. I'm going to try and put in that Bazar place, Qamabr Bazar. But I'm also going to just read it so that he's got movement and the air power is sorted out. You won't notice, but I'll be restarting the game, but you won't notice, but I'll be pausing. Probably take me a good few minutes actually, but you won't notice. Okay, I know how these videos work. I can now figure it out though. Okay, that only took about 5 minutes. Hopefully it should work now. I'm going to have to start again. Didn't do much, so obviously it's down here towards the end. Okay, so I put Qamabr Bazar there. I don't know where it is. I had a quick look. I couldn't find it with an easy sort of Google search, so I put it there. Also put the objectives here to make it a little easier. I put it there to sort of give it a bit of, reason. I mean, presumably this is the valley. So we'll go into play mode. Now what we should have here is all the air power available. So we've not got that problem we had before. I haven't actually checked that everything works, but I'm assuming it does. I can do things quite quickly now that I've got this spreadsheet thing. I can download 4.4, 1.32, so fairly effective. Yeah, I can move him. Oh, we can move too because he's going along the roads. Doesn't make a lot of difference because he'll get there with 0 movement. and that's as far as we can go. So due to stacking limits, that's it. So we can move, I guess, a few units across the river, which might help. But that's it really. Other than we won't be able to stack in there. Let's see what we can do here. Oh, why have they only got 0 movement? Did I miss those ones? They're at 3p. Let me just start again. I just sort of, all I did was refresh them. It's because it's an old game. The problem's not particularly prevalent because I've been correcting this particular issue for a long time now. Okay. Oh! Of course there was nothing wrong with them. They're on the other side of the river. Right, so much so that I'm going to go back to that game. So that's that one. This is the one that we were on. So we've done all that movement. That's why you can't go in there. It's not for an error. Do I want to attack with just 4 units? Let me do an attrition. Let's just see what. Attrition's a nice way of figuring out what the odds will be. This isn't a design intention. To be quite honest, the design intention would be to sort of allow you to sort of see the odds. So you do that and you click the odds, but to some extent I don't want that happening because I don't want people playing odds. I mean, I think it's fair to figure them out because that's part of wargaming, figuring out the odds, calculating these. It's not a case of just sort of clicking buttons. That's sort of quite a lazy thing, and I don't really agree with that. I don't think it's anything that is criminal, but it just seems to me that part and parcel of, from my perspective, how war games work and should work is that you've got to constantly thinking about the odds. So that would have been a 1 to 2 attack, but as it happens we actually did 1.4 damage, which was pretty good. However, what we really want to do, well, we were to bring him in next turn. So the battle for, so that's quite nice. The battle for Mingora is well underway now, and that was it. That was the first attack. Lots of air power and some attrition. And I think that's a fairly reasonable, way of actually considering it, really. Now the thing is, do we want to sort of move him? I think we've got to take Mingora first, and then move on to this place. Okay, so let's end that. Right. So the Taliban are obviously thinking, perhaps I should put Pakistan up here as a label. We know it's in Pakistan, but that was a pre-whatever thingy bob. I'm not going to restart the game or anything, but I'm going to put in Pakistan. I don't normally do that when it's clearly the country, but I think it will work. Right. Well, see, motorised have a really difficult time. Infantry is best. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to at least put some troops in there. Let's try some attrition here. .2. Okay, and here, some attrition against that. Oh, no, I think we're just going to sit there actually and recover. Okay, so that's their turn. We'll recover with them. Air power. Oh, so we've got one. And so that gives them 2, 3.7, 2.8, so they're both fairly okay. Let's do some more attrition. Unsuccessful. Okay. And they're going to recover, so that's that. So we can see we're saturating the land with these units. It was a big operation. Surrounding Mingora. So you can tell how old it is because it's pre-irregulars. There's no irregulars here, otherwise we could move some irregulars to try and reinforce. Now here we might sort of say, well, we could try and escape, but we're not going to be able to move our motorised units into the mountains, and they're both motorised, so there is no escape. I wonder if I can move them. Let's try. See, the thing is, I don't want to sort of do it and then find out that I can actually move into mountains because it will spoil it. Who can I try it with? Maybe him. Yeah, look. It is a Taliban turn. Yeah, I can't move into the mountains, which is good. How about there? That's a relief. So they can't move anywhere. However, let's try some more attrition here. Nothing. So they've probably recovered now. Yep. This is going to be pointless, but we try some attrition there. Nope. Okay, and we might as well try some attrition here, but there's can't attack. So that's that. So we've got air power. I think I've got 4 more turns left. I think we're going to destroy these units this turn. I feel that way. We could probably go back and put some irregulars in here, and also give them some air defense, even if it's just a little bit. 0.05, 4.6, 3.9. So they're holding in, bombarding Mingora. Okay, so Look at the different colours. I've got a black background, these ones have got a white background on the square. The Pakistan army, what do they want to do? See, I can either attack now or move there to prepare for an attack next turn. So let's prepare for an attack for next turn. There's absolutely no rush. See what attrition does at this level now. 1 to 2, but we've got 1 damage, so the odds are still not good. Okay, they don't like that position, so they're going to move. They're going to try and move that way. I think likewise they're not so happy with that, but that's a nice defensive position and that will help. And we've still got Malam Jabba. They're going to try and recover. It should be down to 3 now. So much so that I'm going to start directing my air power on this stack, because there's only 3 more turns and the air power makes a lot of difference, and I think that other one we can now start attacking now that we've got them surrounded. It might be a 2 to 1. So what have they got now? 2.5, 2.6, 0.5, 2.1, so that was pretty good. In here, I'm just going to attack. I'm not sure that the odds are going to be that brilliant, but because I'm playing on the video, I think I'm just going to go for it. I would maybe go for an attrition, but I'm going to be a bit adventurous. I'm hoping it's going to be a 2 to 1, but it might just be a 1 to 1. I don't think it's going to be worse than that. Let's see. 1 to 1 and in exchange. Still a 1 to 1. That's because they're just so heavily they're in a city, entrenched. They're not even dug in yet. I mean, they're dug in, they're not even entrenched yet. In the mountains. That's why they're getting all these odds multipliers. We'll have to just focus on the attritions, I think. But here, hold that position there, I think. Okay, so the Taliban, they're all holding up. They're going to sit there and try and recover. Very slow moving. Oh, he's got some infantry there, look. He can move there. Didn't know that. Leave him there, put that there. They're going to really have to start holding now, because otherwise they're going to look, well, they've already sort of lost the flank there. I think they're going to have to start moving back and try and come this way at least. Possibly put him there. I mean, it's clearly a losing situation, but it depends on, you know, I think the thing is how you lose. I think we're going to spend a turn recovering there, because the depression's 1. After that failed assault. And that's another thing I like about the way Warblog works, is that when you're playing it sort of at this level like this, you can sort of almost envisage that was a sort of fairly major assault, fairly poor odds, maybe a bit impetuous against Mingora, and it failed. But it was an exchange, so it wasn't a terrible failure. But the thing is, then you start, it's only 1 sort of hit point. If you were playing a normal game, so it's only a hit point, I'll do it again, I can afford that. But I think when you're playing it sort of in a tentatively sensible manner, you sort of think, okay, well, we're going to recover, and that's what we're going to do. So spending a turn regrouping, so we get back up to 0. Now I could just do another assault, and because it's a video, maybe I should, but I'm not. I'm going to wait because I want these to get back down, and then I'm going to start doing attritions until we've got them at. They're already fairly depressed. We've routed 1 unit, so it's not terrible. Well, I didn't want to move there, but anyway, that's it. So they're recovering. I'm going to push him round. He shouldn't really be there because he's not going to do anything, is he? Can't get across the river, so he should possibly start moving. Again, they're all going to recover. Pretty much sort of. I can block that road. And that's their move. Maybe they should. This is the last of the airstrikes. Well. Effect. And that's it. No routes. 0.5 depression. 5.2. 5.8. 1.1. Not brilliant. The helicopters might still have some use, but I think that's the airplanes out. Okay, so we've recovered here. This unit can't engage because it's over a river. So he might as well start moving up. He can move this way, he can move that way, etc, etc. We're not going to push any further that way. What's that like? There's a road there, so we're going to hold that. And let's go for an attrition here. Big numbers? No. That's what you need. I mean, otherwise it can go on forever. So it's a tough battle. I'm not going to bother with anything else. So the Taliban, I think, are going to sort of move this way and like that. So I want to move there, so I'll have to come this way. And leave everything else. Right, so we've still got some helicopters. 8 rounds of helicopters, but they're not particularly great. So let's put one in here. So that was good. Let's put the other one in here. They do, I mean, you've got something on everything. That would have inflicted morale checks on all the ones over 5. So we could push him up here. We can take that crossing. And here. Another attrition. 1.8. That's what we need. 5.2, 5.6. The Taliban still can't get out. Well, there's a ford there, isn't there? So we've got to keep that. That's it. See whether we can do something here. Let's see if we can give ourselves a little edge. See, they would have both done route checks, or he wouldn't have. We need some big numbers coming up in a row, because otherwise they just keep recovering. That's the thing with attrition, it's a long haul. 2, that was good. 7.8, because they'll only recover 1 a turn. So we can keep doing that, we knock them up a turn. So there's no crossing there. So that unit can do something else. Taliban. See, I was tempted to sort of try and squeeze this line down. I think I'm going to do that. They just don't have enough units. What I'm going to do here, yeah, push him there. See whether we can push some morale checks in here. Let's put them both in there. 6.7, 5.6. I'm going to do an attack. I feel lucky-ish. And a bit impatient. Ooh, that was lucky. Did I say I was feeling lucky-ish? I think I did, and that's what you get. That could have been a disaster, but we've now secured Mingora. We can't move in there, so the game is afoot now. As as we push the Taliban away. So they've now got their line. Let's try some attrition this way. I don't know why I didn't do this before. Nothing. Okay. Helicopters attacks. See, these shouldn't be in there. I don't know why they're in there. I'll have to have a look. Okay, so what are the odds going to be like for something like this? Let's do an attrition there. 1 to 1. So it's very slow going through these mountains, which is what you would expect really, but it's working out quite well actually. I think one of the differences, although we've not really noticed it, the will play effect, is when this was written, well, to be quite honest, it's not really relevant, but a DE would have resulted in them being eliminated, which would happen quite quickly. But here, you know, if you get a DE, it would be, you know, they get a couple of chances, you know, if they're fresh. Here, we're going to try another attrition there. So it's a 1 to 3. They definitely don't want to be doing that as an attack. Here, well, we want to be keeping away. Oh, you can't do that because he's motorised, look. That's a problem. So we're going to have to hold that line now. But you can do that. There's no okay. Right, well, that's about as good as it's going to get there. Unsuccessful, 1 to 2 odds. We still haven't actually captured that, have we? Okay, this is their final strategic manoeuvre. Pinned up along that. Let's see what we can do here. It's a desperate struggle. Right, let's put him back into Mingora. Okay, maybe the odds will improve. What we don't have here is artillery. That would be really good. So Taliban are going to do that, that, and that's their line, pinned up against whatever Bazar, Bazar. This is a peculiar situation. It's antagonised by the fact that we can't stack more than one, but they've got an illegal stack in there, entrenched. .45 3 4 0 1. Ooh, 2 damage. So that's how attrition works. Eventually you get something. Eventually you get something. And here, I'd like to sort of do something else with that, but they can't go off the roads. Okay, let's see if we can push something here. Morale check. 4.6. He could go. That one. The other ones are very well defended. See, that would have been a morale check, but just such irrelevant odds. 5.65. We need another big one. This is what we need. This one now, a big one. To really start rolling that damage in. No. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Taliban have not going to do anything. They've got their defensive line, although they might be outflanked. That's the problem. Ooh, 2 damage on that. No helicopters left. Another 2 damage. They're going to have to give up that unless they want to get flanked. They're going to hold. Another attrition. Attrition here. No. Nearly coming to an hour. It's interesting how it sort of flowed up this way. I'm sure there wasn't really a front line, but you could almost imagine them sweeping up the Swat Valley, pushing the Taliban out with these small enclaves of resistance. The battle of Mingora and this one here, whatever it is, Malam Jabba. So I think what they're going to do here is that in order to not get flanked, they're giving that up. So that's how you can gain positions through manoeuvre. I like to always sort of emphasise that. If we can get back to Bahrain, then we consider they go off the board. I haven't got the off-board movement. I keep saying I'm going to do that, but it's a bit fiddly. Going for some more attrition over here. He's actually now recovered, so that we've lost all the benefits of that 2 result we got. We need a big number here. Yes, a 2. And so the Taliban are now retreating officially. No, that was a mistake. You need to get 2 2s in a row. That would really make a lot of difference. We've taken Mingora. I can't get across there. They're hardly likely to advance. Could try this at a 1-to-1. I don't want to be that adventurous. Okay. That's what we need. I'm not going to bother with any more of that. So we're not going to do any more of that. Just going to see whether we can actually take this out. That was what we needed. A 2, 6.8, 7.6. Taliban not going to do anything. Another attrition roll here. Oh, did we not put that one in? That's that. Another attack in here. See, if they started attacking back, they would stop recovering. See, they're recovering. Every turn they recover 1. Ah, we've got one. We've got one on the morale. That is what it's all about. With 8 minutes to go. So Taliban not going to do anything. We've assumed that they've now sort of escaped up there. We're just going to focus on what we can do down here now. We're going to do one more attrition, I think, just to sort of gauge the odds, but we should be approaching 1-to-1 territory now. Yeah, 1-to-1. But that was unsuccessful. Damage 8.84, still 1-to-1 territory. Two damage. This is going to snowball now. I mean, there's just absolutely no way they can fight their way out of that. So we can keep following with attrition. Unfortunately, we don't have the power to sort of assault, but that's pushing them up. 10, 6, 3. Minutes to go. Going to be approaching 2-to-1 odds, but not. Yeah, 2-to-1, 1.4. Ah, we've got another one. Let's just play it safe and do another attrition. We've got a few minutes left. 2, 9, and 8. Do we want to do an assault? I think we're going to do an assault. Let's just do it. Yes, 5-to-1 DR. and we've taken it. End the turn, move in, move everyone else up, and that's it. Interesting. That was a little more exciting than I thought it was going to be. It's a very different game. I think it's a very early game, but I think it does hold true to what happened. But I'm not sure about the sort of front line. I don't think front lines necessarily formed, and there was a bit of a distortion on the overall stacking. But you know, even so, as a game, it sort of adds up as a sort of game, even though it's not perfectly aligned to what happened historically. This being, you know, I mean, in retrospect, I don't know what I could have done better. For example, maybe putting more air power in there to start off with. I like the way that this collapsed due to manoeuvre without actually having to attack it, etc. But so we've got a few minutes left, but so I'm going to just sort of put it up now. Remember, if you want to play this yourself, just sign up and give it a whirl and print it and play as well. Or play it with your powers online. And I'll speak to you later. Cheerio!